Good morning. So I'd like to thank these ladies for bringing us this wonderful song and dance that's related to the 3 areas in Tibet, the snowland, and giving us a very auspicious beginning of this teaching. So thank you. And exactly like it is said in the song, that the land of snow, the snowland, is nothing but a jewel. So usually when we think of a jewel, we think of something that will bring us happiness and something that is very valuable. That is something that that has all the values and all the happiness. So 2,500 years ago, our great teacher, Buddha, has brought to us the Dharma of realization and the Dharma of scriptures. And that in all his teachings, it encompasses the law of dependent origination. That is the high science that is based on truth. And later on, when this teaching goes to the snowland of Tibet, that has been held by the doctrine holders without any differentiating of any lineages, and headed by His Holiness, and who is like the Buddha of all 3 times. The Buddha, His Holiness, embodies the qualities of Buddha himself, that he's endowed with the unsurpassable love, the unsurpassable knowledge, and the unsurpassable capabilities. So in the past or for the future, for such a Buddha to arrive at our place in this world is very difficult. And then it's especially precious, and it's especially precious for us to encounter him and to generate faith in him. So he is indeed the jewel for the 21st century, that he has provided us teachings for us to listen, to contemplate, and to practice. He has taught us the teachings pertaining to the ground, to the path, and the fruition. That he has helped us to either hold the doctrine or to increase, to develop the teachings. And so it is true, as it is said in a song, that the snowland is a jewel.
So, any Dhamma Karijuru, Chenaba, Katinche, so Yanja Juatan, Nazo Peba, Sang, Onetan, Mirik Peba, Rani, Xinjung, Ani, Pebala, Hung Yovade, Xinjung Zachimudiri, One, Ani, Lame Tangwa Zachimude, Yinzang, Mazol, Chulu, Yawame, Mirikla, Yawame, Sanji Chomdindi, Chede, and Zumbling quality, quality Tamang Mazugi Langri. And de la paint to a ye, Sanji Chomdindi, and Tawa Chinji Malova, Joba Chinji Malova, and it's ever maybe true. Mirikla Yawame, Chulugla Yawame, and G. Kana Yawa maybe Tone, Zumbling Yos so general. Shirap Putujon, Ninji Putujon. Need it? Ding a soji, and Pukanjin. Zachimbo, Jane, Tiramisu Zaji Dinala, the Zamblin Jilla, Gogo Chimbute. Zamblin Jide, Lobjon, Zachimbo, Chingabo Yaji, Lobjon, Halibit Setumbo, Zachimbo, Jindan Chimbo, Chogyen Dere, Chunibani, Japchuni Sanan Dambaina, Zamblin de, Nyanga Tawada, Namra Tawu, Shenan Tawu, the Song Job Chimatobadang, Nyokta Tawu, Shuzigi, Nisut, Tendizical Yuri. 대송장가서 아니 친구고 야지 찍어오기 가서 아니지 나지 되게 용수도 봐 아니 난 두개 매번 송장 아니 남 생감 리바디 다 그거 전부 쉬워지당 내가 전부 쉬워지는다 가서 동해라이나 아니지 심소기 동해제다 리소기 동해제 니 팔아주대 여봐 송장 다 생감 리바디기 토네 Zumbling de, Kangone Tani, Shiti Langala, and Kacho, Jukoagi, Sosotoigi, Lanes Tarbaina, Mato Tsangma, Zumbling Shide, Chimzang Shide, Rang Shide, Tsangmagi, Tabdi, and Wongang River D, Kala, Semgang River D, Shirap Putu Chunga, Ninja Putu Chunga, Rendang the Chevigi, and Nobo D, Mato Tsangmagi, Yache down in Chevaina, one Tani, Rangjin Gu. And nigga Tartuk knows it's over, and Zachimbutzida, Deva, and Khandro Shidiji Langala, Melantawa Naji, and was a line. Deptavata, Dim Nubazi, chatting Ri, Katinche.
So I would like to say thank you again. Yes, indeed, we Tibetans have bring something very valuable to this world, that is the Dharma and the instructions of the lamas. We brought them to this world without any distinction to the races, to the ethnicities. So this one world is like home to each one of us. And so Dharma can only bring benefit to this world. And what Dharma does is to help us to diminish our mistaken view and the mistaken conduct to something that is unmistaken. It teaches us about nonviolence. And so from Dharma, we learn the unsurpassable or the supreme wisdom and the supreme compassion. And this is indeed something that we, the snowland, has kept for the world. And Dharma is also something that is exactly what the world needs. That is the most valuable thing. That is the most valuable wealth, the most valuable studies. On the other hand, now this world has come to a time, a terrible time, where very many terrible things are happening, and it is seemingly impossible to save, or very difficult to save ourselves from these terrible things or disasters. And we have realized that the pursuit of outer materials cannot save us from these disasters. So the science of the mind or mental health is very important, as that the sufferings can be divided into physical suffering versus the mental suffering. And so the science of the mind, if I will put it that way, has to do with both. And that by practicing Dharma, it can really bring us peace, starting from the individual to the family and to the country and to the world. And so on the basis of material or science of material, then along with the science of the mind, we can indeed develop the most exceptional wisdom and the most exceptional compassion, because they are the most priceless. And the two, exceptional wisdom and the exceptional compassion, can bring us not only the temporary happiness, but also the ultimate. It helps us to understand the nature of all phenomena, and it is something that we can indeed practice. Lasso.
라서 니 링값을 가봐 아니 Geshe Langri Thangpa 아니 Losang Tse Zachenbo da Shirap Thang 아니 닝지 Zungreji da Kapshi Zungreji ngani Zachenbo Zesone Niri Tsuana 아니 Khandis Tarchuane 아니 Tanga Zachenbo Zengaranson Songyuri and Ditun Ji come to the Cherishing.
So today our topic here regards the Geshe Langri's 8 verses of training the mind. So in these 8 verses, it shows us the union of wisdom and compassion. And so today it also teaches about how to apply them into our daily life, and and then with that, how to help us with both our body and mind. So this is what we'll be discussing here today. Let's.
아니 타르바다 탐지 준비지 고마지 대바함 아니 준종지 차 송장 아니 가서 산지 주소문제 양도 등기.
And so we're here so that we aspire to attain the highest Buddhahood, and then through refuge and generating bodhicitta, so that we can take our practice to enlightenment. So let's start with the refuge verse here.
Sanjin Judan Soji Chonam La Janju Pardo Danin Jazunji Dagin Chushi Jibi Sonam Jin Rola Penji Sanjin Jubareshu Sanjin Judan Soji Chonam La Janju Pardo Danin Jazunji Dage Chushi Jibi Sonam Jin Rola Penji Sanjin Jubareshu Sanjin Judan Soji Chonam La Janju Pardo Danin Jazunji Lagi Chisun Jivi Sunam Ji Jolai Pinji Sanjin Jubare Shu. Kange to Zeni Zome Dawa Tam Je Bawe Je Dambe Junen Jenjo Be Kwa Bangli Ya Ze No Toni Je Zumba Jube Ma Chige Sebe Sanjin Jumbe Chana Be Mo Deze Janzo Lo Sowan Dezo Ta Ju Chin Chin Lo Mananga Danya Be Simjan Tam Ji Tongi Chunju Nidan Che De Kubi Sanjin Ji Kongpa Rinpo Jen Tobe Che Do Dambe Che Zambo Je Nyang Su Long Shou Yana so, ini nga tso da kulung sa chenpo chiya di pera zina sanjin choso ma tenden duyong lu kunjo nga tso nangba ina kunjo sum zambuling diga la kunjo sa chenpo ma mo ndo wa susu kunjo kana zina teni chanju sembe choba samji me choba ana sa chenpo pedori kon namba tso ge gongba ani di 상마기 아니 참바다 제벨로 심상보치 밀라네바 마치 참바다 제벨로디 아니 가족이 가족 다지 냠실래야 장보치 장보치 장보다 장보데 아니 군주지 까주바 아니지 님바다 독자지에 들데 군주지 까자버지 이제 가솔라 님바다 독자지가 있나 서로 동행인도 아니 가보다 장보시는 서로가 대화 용화 성장 군주시 아니 그래서 군주 숨이 있는다 군주 치 있는다 군주 도마 있는다 이니 출루 리수 마치듯이 아니 라만다 산제다 자주선 봐 수수적이 천제도 봐 참말로 아니 찍도 전주기 셈송년당 아니 양다 배다와 아니 송년 인진 뭐더이나 된제세니 셈 부스도 보면 와진 고 저선 당와이나 아니 고용보용 그러와 제 나의 가서로 나 얘네 줄로 이젠다 인자고 아니 나 남바이 나 이슈이 나 카시 나 지지 인주인자고 된데게 선은 당되는 것도 부스도 보다 아니 얘네 남바이나 양 나닝마이 나 사자이 나 까주이 나 결론이 람네 진짜로 혼자 제대와이나 근데 가서 중요하기도 와 차당 모습이야 뭐로도 와 저 semba zambu, semba changbu, ji 용서做个对了, semje 탐지라, semba zambu, semba changbu, 나야디 가르치래 가솔라 동해 만들바 인장 아니 동해디 semba 님바 장부 매바 독자지 저거로 대완디 서로바 대완 돼야 돼 semba 장부, semba 자친부, semba 고양부, 된데기 저와 송장 맞죠 수수수수지 게리기야 수수기 거든 기체슈지다 집발라이나 잠불링이 집발라이나 장보다 장보 줘야 돼 아니 뭐니 인룩천도 아니 가져 시대 영향지 자신 모르와 이 송장 가서 semba 네 그 양보 장보 줘야 돼 뺏기지 뭐 인사래
So basically generating great motivation is very important. When we take refuge in our three jewels. So in this world, there are very many what we call jewels, or the precious and sublime ones. So there are, for example, very many bodhisattvas. They're incredible love and compassion and mind, that they are full of love and full of compassion, and then their behavior never harms any sentient beings. That they teach us to have a kind mind, to have an honest mindset. So if we try to develop a kind mind and honest mindset, then we are following their teachings accordingly. Otherwise, if we go with a dishonest mindset or try to harm others, then we're not following their teachings, so to speak. So be it 3 jewels or even 1 jewel, some of you, might think that there is only one sublime one, one supreme one. No matter what you believe, regardless of our religion, let's think of the 3 jewels or the 1 jewel is the one who teaches us the correct view. It is the one who teaches us about opening up our minds. It is about making our mind vast. If we get caught up by, oh, I'm Christian, or I'm Buddhist, or I'm this and that, or if you're a Buddhist already, and you're very strongly attached to, like, oh, I'm a Sakya, or Gelug, or Nyingma, or Kagyu, or this lineage and that, then it's a huge loss for you, because these type of thinking will only make our attachments grow more and more. What we need is really this kind heart and this honest mindset, because none of us wants suffering. And suffering comes from a bad mindset, whereas only the kind heart and an honest mindset will bring us happiness. And so we need to strive ourselves at diminishing these bad mindsets, and then to develop more and more of the kind heart and an honest mindset. So in any case, a vast, wide, and open mind is very important. Lasso.
Deni sikje dinala da kungi sachimbogi danga dela dani simjen thamje la yin no le la bi tenjo drop sambai ta to jeba zima sho sikje ji sonwa.
And then so the first verse goes, by thinking of all sentient beings as more precious than a wish-fulfilling jewel for accomplishing the highest aim, I will always hold them dear. This is a very precious, almost like an oral instruction. Lasso.
Da dihi ne te shiba ina jedang ge da kongi 가지고로 이 당화 자침보 시럽 표도 중원 인지 표도 중원이 당화 인장 나도 저기 네베 가서로 될라마 주야 배가래 가고 렌트시지 하라 이나야다지 스스셈바남다 이 삼수 잠세 주인스.
In general, the verse contains the most exceptional wisdom and the most exceptional compassion. So this is almost like his own oral instruction. So for someone ordinary like me to wanting to sort of delve into it is very difficult. But I'm here today to share my insight with you with very pure intention. Lasso.
Lasso, that's it. Wamba, Drawina, Simi, Rangi, Chambo, Orang Katsuruta, Gemma Maimba ye, and Gomba Jingit, Rangi Gemma Maimba, they never man, Gomba Sundoa, Te Sunganga Zudi, Lamsang Kene Chetu Erisena, Pechikale Kawari, Naso, Ani Karijugo, Chadang Ingola, Comdichabu Shuzero, Semjen Tamjin, Katsoro, Semjen Tamjila, and Be Yino, Hazard, Ratching with the Semjen Tamji, Zatching with Tau Res Layadi, only Karipejo down. Rangjin, not so Semiji, Rangjin, Tawa Chijimalo down, Jabba Chijimalo, Digi Tony, Ladanzi Hingani, then Semjen Tamji Zatching Tungur.
That's all. And so the author's mind, I can say that when he wrote this, he's coming from a very pristine, uncontrived nature of the mind. He's completely honest and pure. And so this is where he's coming from. So for us to read his words, where it's coming from such a pristine level, it might be very difficult for us to accept it right away, because our attachments are so strong, because we are indeed sentient beings. We might think, okay, so to think all sentient beings are more precious than a wish-fulfilling jewel, what use can that be for me? I don't see the point of this. I don't see the value of this. But the truth is, only when we see the nature of the mind, only when we have the unmistaken view and conduct, only then we will understand that's how precious sentient beings are. That's
딘지지 시럽 짜침보데 마솔라 여드래요. 마소 배주 땅 맛이 바래마도 마솔라 여드래요. 마솔라 시럽 짜침보데 배주 땅 맛이 바지 시럽 임발라 뉴몬지 안에 심 더차 시당 풀바즈 배주 땅 들어와.
That's right. And so this exceptional wisdom, actually, all of us have it. It's just we don't know, and we don't know how to utilize it. So because we don't know that we ourselves are endowed with this precious, exceptional wisdom, then we are inundated by all kinds of afflictions. Our mind is filled with anger and attachment and so on. And that type of mindset is what we usually use in a daily life. That's
맞아 시샤 랑중 라야디 시야데 뱀미스 개침보래도와 때려지나 니마시 요슬 랑중데 안데라 차당메도와 예바메도와 가와이나라 세고 차기로와 카실라 가고차 카시 나고차 차기메도와 님의 요 있을데 랑중데 꼭끊나 아니 지 찬용 렌도 데나지 홀육 장구 대양 아니 걸 랑지 끊나 고치 데나지 룽 랑중 끊이지 배주치에 끊이 가오치 디스나라 랑중 디스나라 차당 길레기면도 다 차당 지용인데 맞죠 셈기 니스 인간에 셈이 랑진데 가랑 배주 당와이나 끊나 핀데 끊나 대보 끊나 지보 그냥 지요 봤송다 맞죠 랑진데 하고에 디피케시 모레도와
So when it comes to something natural, or another term might be self-arisen, it's actually very important. Take the sunshine or the sunlight, for example. When the sun shines, it shines everywhere. It doesn't differentiate itself to shine here and not to shine there. When it shines everywhere, as if it's sort of a equal, the way that it brings light to the world. And in the same way, we all naturally like greens. When we go to somewhere in an environment full of greens, and then we naturally like that type of nature. Or we also like when a place, we say that the air is good. Then we like somewhere that's clean air and so on. So these are the type of or the kind of situations that we would like, situations that have its nature to it. And in our liking, there isn't much, or in our liking, it's not attachment. It's not like we attached to these nature things. It's just we like it naturally. And so through all these attachments of the mind, it is knowing the nature of the mind. It is knowing the nature of the mind that can be an antidote to the attachment to the mind. And that having known the nature of the mind can bring us happiness. And therefore, knowing that the nature of the mind is very important.
계산 연 계단기 아니 셈라야 툭라야 돼 다니 셈젠 탐지지 있을란 셈젠 카시 송면도 낭미 카시 종야 송면도 sentient 탐지 뒤숨지 sentient 탐지 수용도 같이 시럽 가서로 짜침보 아니 로디 짜침보 가서 밀어요. 햄미시 짜침보도 와.
So when we say that about the mind or the nature of the mind, that it can be helpful to all sentient beings. It helps all sentient beings in all three times. It is like the family to us, and then it helps us to to develop the supreme or exceptional wisdom. Also.
배대가 저 이진노고 세네. 같이 제당도 누구 린당 친구 증계신 거. 이진노를 내라 비스. 누구 린당 친구들 근데 근중 이진노를 내야 되라. 아니 근데 근중 인식을 이나양 이진노를 내라베 된조 삼바주바이. 아 된다 초도 좀 봐. 아니 닝도 쳔바. 닝제 쳔바. 된리기 셈 쿠르쳔보. 겐쳔보. 내갑다 타두기 용서 줘봐. 개인 쿠tum이지 된제디 아니 된다 초도 된부지로 와 할래비 짜침 부리로 와.
And so when we talk about wish fulfilling jewel, like this is not just an ordinary jewel, but a wish fulfilling one. Why is it wish fulfilling? It is because that this jewel can help us to achieve or to accomplish great meaning. It can help us to achieve great compassion. It can help us carry great responsibility, either temporarily or ultimately. Therefore, it is very precious. Therefore, it is wish fulfilling. Must.
딱도 아니 제발 짐바쇼 semje 탐지 딱도 짜침보 통화쇼 짜침보 용화쇼 짜침보 진 라야디 장부 장샤로와 맞죠 아니 직소수기 처야기 주부디 초고에나 아니 semje지 까지나 되네 맞죠 초기여로와 가래이나 또그땀 용수 쪽바 semje나 되네 용들 맞죠지 주부대양 파마 semje 디기 파마 쿠라 따고나 아니 베데 뭐메가 지당 되니 또그기 제바 땡진 제베 니층안에 아니 타이바지 셈젠 타이바지 제바 요바 인장 셈젠 탐지 짜침보다 겐침보 피고야 돼 셈젠 뜻이 짜침보 임바 랑기 근데 근중 용수 줘봐 셈젠나 되는 용고 맞을로 이친지로 삼는나 가리 요리세나 아니지 랑기 롭종이나 랑기 제바이 랑기 전당 랑기 제바이 나랑 전에 템바와지 나래 나 메발라 나지 템바와 축도와지 대이 때네 아니 차탕이 로지제 아니 옌라 쩐다와지 파다와지 옌라 쩐다비 믹스케 랑라 쩐다비 아니 미미메 딘디기 추르드드나라 심지 파마 까진지 심지 짜침부 따고야 데즈데라 까진라 아니 베데 젤레 랑제친 로디고르와 가서 출당데 딘데레 진침부 요바디지 까진데서 마소르바시 젤레 랑제 데니 수수기 근데 근중 가르져요나 심지 파마라 데니 용고요와 대송장 짜침부 인비 좀제 무지도와 데니 랑체나 찌그리 옌치나 타이바리 장기 차니나 수수기 동해 만들바 대반되바 랑나지 찍바 임비 토네 겐데 망고찌기 된다라 아니 겐케바이나 수수기 심데 장부 미딘 준부 미디 짜침부 아니 랑기 서바라이나 서바디 타이베 심리라 겐케바이나 초바 대바요 찌바요 시럽데 때 닌제데 때 학삼데 때 자파데 템바 딘디지 응고여와
Okay. And then so this last sentence, I will hold them dear. The fact that we need to hold all sentient beings dear is a very straightforward description. because this body that we have, actually, all the enjoyments that this body needs, or all the necessities this body needs, all depend on others. Our food, our clothing, shelter, reputation, and so on, all come from or all depend on others. And so even the sort of formation of this body, the sperm of our father and then the egg of our mother come from our father and mother. And then it goes, if we sort of goes back, then our parents' body also come from their parents, and so their parents and then parents and their parents. So it has become boundless, limitless. That is why sentient beings are relevant to us. That's why we are connected. And that is also why sentient beings are precious. Very often we think that, what I have, the sort of diploma that I have, the education that I have, the things that I own or the wealth that I own are all from me and me alone, me independently. I am the one who gets, I am the reason for everything that I have. And I don't need anyone else. This is usually how we think of ourselves. And that when we look at others, we very often look at the faults of others. We never look at the faults of ourselves. And then to the kindness to our parents, or our parents like sentient beings. We don't pay any attention. We don't repay their kindness. And we're so wrong. We don't repay their kindness, means that we don't actually see that all we have come from all sentient beings. We need to understand that. And then this is the reason why sentient beings are very precious. That I alone am only one, whereas there's countless others. And then all others are just like me, who do not want suffering and wants happiness. And so if one is able to carry the happiness or the benefits of all sentient beings as one's own duty, then we always say that this person is very responsible. This person is very capable. Not only that, this person is able to develop and to utilize the exceptional wisdom and compassion. It is someone has pure intention, and so on. That's all.
대장 다 ngacho semje zoya za chimbo da ya de jurim de zo de chimba ina 아니 고 덴베카 수 semde chambo do tu gro wa 제 인자는 ngacho 치로기 아니지 같이 로고 와 있나 남드는 로는 못하는 로 와 있나 되네 랑가 상바 아니 참나 semje 되니 semje 이까리는 되는 거도 내는 가서 가사야 둘로 그냥 되는 나나 맹강 아니 대사 아 참나 semje 되는 거 내나진 가서 수고돼요 난 semje 되는 가말 되는 거서 제 내 나신 가서 롭존돼야 개개는 되는 게 랑 간제 요리 삼스 땅와이나 랑 라야지 랑기 짐바 나지 랑 축도바 메데바 지당 뭐지가 때 된 체니 체대 된서 띵중잉안 조짐 부지 띵중잉안이 용대바 지잉안에 되니 같은 수고야 당 같이 보인다 좀전도 되네 아니 시고야 지rinwa 해송장 나저기 좀전데도 돼 마셔봐지 같은 젤렌 롱제 제바 이나 아니 가줄라 아니 당위 자 세네 나랑 지저와 자 요마리지 치로라 자지 가와요래 자랑이 접대봐서 요마리 치로라 자 zon인데 아주 너무 독숨 맞소지 출 아니 동네비랑이라 대완지 아니 차당이 로제 아니 미장이랑이라 장마지 차당이 로제 아니 지 미장이랑이 장마지 다음에 봐 다드지 차당 용수 줘봐 다음에 봐 다드지 딘리기 차당 제자위기 팡지기 아니 자니 안 딘리친 당용 디디가랑 가서 셈 부수 도고 딱바 korba kor 아니 지 대외지 dende지 주 시페 푼조지 여바이나 주로베랑지 동해베랑지 내가 잠즈 마도 푹수 무sol라 디지 용수 조거지 라기면도 와 대송장 아주 디지 용수 조거지 터발라 아주 시럽피도 중요하지 배주당 참뭐 구양보지 내니 닝지 피도 중요한데 아니 수수기 부자다 zan다다 낭지고 중용진의 돈로나 인생은 아주 냠도 되는데 희고기 고치기면도 와 당아주 대심자 진보지 심지어 탐지지 된다 라야디 심지지 까지는 된 되네 랑나지 출네 아니 방지를 되네 닝지지야 아니 줄을 되네 닝지지야 제울을 되네 닝지지야 출라기 로당 아니지 심 마투비 로디 랑진 참모로와 아니 빼데 오늘 전에 닝지지야지 유데 빼 개침부지도와 랑진 셈이 랑진데 셈진 참모로 출면도와 아니 랑용데 빼미시 자침부 동해 랑진 레면도 근데 동해 랑진지 매바지 셈제나 맞소 딜을 전에 마시 가지고 디 전에 제나 맞소 셈 자침부제다 고양부제다 아니 디 랑진 그도와 대송장 아주 이게 체매비 대화당 체매비기 아니지 가서 디지롱주 줘야지 맞소人당 제바지 가서 줘야 도와 제장 체매비 동해인데 심 주변이 주는 용어지 체매비 대화데 아니 심 정보 심 정보 드링하는 용어 연장 시럽디 표시 당네 아니 맞소 로종라나 되니 맞소 로마 튜바디 튜바진 종양 깨자라와
Yes. And so again, if we understand why the sentient beings are precious sequentially, then our mind would easily develop an honest mindset because it is based on truth. When we go out and about, be it in a car or we take a plane, the roads that we take or the plane or anything that we take, nothing does not come from all sentient beings. The food that we take, we usually have. The clothing that we wear, and when we're sick, we need to go to the hospital or the places where we stay. All of it depend on sentient beings. Even this body comes from others, our parents, this very body of ours. And then the education that you have come from your teacher. So how can you say that all of this is because of you alone? How do you say that nothing comes from others? So everything depends on others and other sentient beings. Through encounter, through mutual reliance, through relations or imputation. This is the law of dependent origination. This is how things come about. And this is the reason why we need to repay the kindness of all sentient beings. Then if we don't understand the reasons and then just say, oh, we need to repay the kindness, or we don't want to repay the kindness of the sentient beings, and then making everyone else your own enemy. Actually, the real enemy is nothing but your own mind, the three poisons, all these afflictions of your own mind. And because of that, because of these afflictions, very often we grasp something that is not permanent or constant as constant. We grasp something that is not pure as pure. We grasp something that is suffering as happiness. And then we also grasp something that selflessness or that lacks a sense of self as totally having a self. And then with this type of affliction, we then go on and wander in samsara. We take rebirth over and over again. And wherever we go, our mind becomes really tight. And so even at times when we could enjoy, when we could have the samsaric perfections, the samsaric bounties, so to speak, we don't know that actually the nature of all that samsaric perfections, it is in the nature of suffering. It is also in the nature of change. And that is what actually eventually will bring us suffering. Whereas if we understand how to utilize the exceptional wisdom, then we will be able to develop the exceptional compassion. We won't go about our life like these little animals and just like an animal, just go about for the most basic needs. We will understand the kindness of all sentient beings. We will know the reasons for that. And to the people who suffers, we will have great compassion to it. It's important to identify the object of our compassion. This nature of the mind, all sentient beings is endowed with this nature of the mind. So why not pursue this? Why not strive to understand that? If we try to understand, to realize the nature of the mind, then the results will be happiness. And not only only little happiness, but limitless happiness. And that is the most valuable thing. Whereas if the unlimited, so on the one hand, it is unlimited suffering, which comes from mistaken mind. And on the other hand, it is the unlimited happiness coming from the application of this unsurpassable wisdom, which actually comes from taming of one's own mind. That's all.
와, 나도 제발 좀 쇼라 좀 전도와. 다 강도 수단 로비체 다니 근레 멘타 지 젠라 삼바타와이 다 제발 좀 쇼 송와. 진짜 넘버.
So the second.
Yeah.
Yes. So the second verse goes, whenever I am in the company of others, I will regard myself as the lowest among all, and from the depth of my heart, cherish others as supreme.
두 컨트롤이나 저와 컨트롤이나 아니 semjen 탐지 에 소소 멤버 따고래 라얀디 나 삼는 예바직 담으로와 가서 남주도 당진은 공부 인정 멤버 따 쟁기마 지 독사도 따 라와이나 니과 lokpar longni nyanga yuri semjen thamje memba ta zewaina ngacho tu jundni ani dewan dewala dongye yong dewa di kharish charizena tangji marigwa di chagu rangi tangji nya chedala semjen thamjela ani suktu kun mesa zun memba tan 제바 이나 따지 제발 망보 여러와 semjen 다리 주와 나진 semjen 탐jen 까지네 되네 자침부지도 와 되니 수수기 다 서로 대화대 공ber당니 심 자침보다 심 장부지 자침부지 좋아야 좋아라 아니 semjen 탐제다 아니 쪽도 튀면지 semjen 탐제도 가시고 그런다지 손님도 좋아 있는 된지 소소 메시지 라야디 랑지 메사 진예스리 진사스리 디 참말로와 땡지 제반니 수응하니 고 민장 따하여 점지 semjen 증마도 매바 송장 아니 가시 메사 마지바이나 쭝 거래요 아니 랑기 짐바페기 셰당 페기 뼈봐 마지 카도 낙심 느심 참마 페기도 와 디게 랑라 쭝치기도 젠라 쭝치기도 와 디 제바이나 좋은 가슴이다 Deni rang katsu tsachi bo yobaina, yenji katin shibi tone. Rang katsin jenang yona, yenji katin yibi tone. Mutsi da tuni yibi tone, chene, mensa zimba ina, yen zuktu kurwa ina, suda nyamda droba ina, chokpo mumbu chagirwa. Rang aje chenpo, rang joyo, rang pungyo, rang shivu tsachi bo yin ten suso la pepa, yobishi, sipi punso de yoba ina, pepa chiba ina, rang la chong ragrimado, kepsang ragmar. 같이 여바이나 랑 메시지 아니 군다 군바치 군라 제비로 레바이나 랑 캡상 라그리 미 차도 지기 말이란 미기 제발레 그리 미 이지 지기리 근데 띵문에 오늘 지ren도아
So then this regarding oneself is the lowest among all. So no matter, regardless of time or the kind of actions that one do, it is our self-grasping that make us end up having the mistaken view. That is to say that very often we want happiness, but we always end up having suffering. Why? It's because of self-grasping. And so to regard oneself as the lowest among all, what benefit will that bring? It will remind us of the kindness of the sentient beings. It will help us to develop an honest mindset. It will help us to be kind. And that's when whoever we go with, when we sort of regard ourselves as the lowest among all, we need to understand that it is like to which object that we grasp ourselves as the lowest. What is it exactly that we're grasping or we're regarding ourselves as the lowest? So because of dependent origination, that existence is nothing but an imputation. And so if we don't see ourselves or if we don't regard ourselves as the lowest among all, then we will end up having lots of faults. That is, we will be very easily be prone to anger, aversion, attachment, ill will, covetousness, jealousy, and so on. And that type of mindset will bring faults, will make us and others to be at fault, which will bring us big loss. And so no matter how capable you are, how smart, intelligent you are, it all comes from others. Therefore, regard yourself as the lowest among all. That if you could do that, wherever you go, whoever you go with, you will have lots of friends. And if you don't do that, then even if you have a lot of samsaric perfections, those perfections will not bring you any benefit, because people will not see you as being precious. And so regard yourself as the lowest. That will bring you benefit. People won't be jealous of you. People will love you. People will believe in you. That's all.
Teni janam kunda rangjula toji nyomon jemata daji maru chebana sentap ton robashos no gini di yang di ninge sigi de ninge de asu samno de to jabs tangwaina shirap khache 아니 닝지 피도 좀 쇠바다 삼된다 남중가 저 장바다 제바다 지용기가 저를 짜침부터 여러 니주디 아니지 남주 여와 대수 정말로 푹뚝 불어줘줘 아니지 가지고 그러고 지 괜찮지 봐이나 아니지 쇠바다에 매바차야 닝제 대야 매바차야 괜히 시럽 대야 매바차야 Shedang, and Sembuzo, and Majivachin, to you. Yes, on the sim Shirap Katzen. Shirap Katsevaina, Jenium the Drona, Junam Garis Chiori, Shirap Kadis Katsegori, Shirap de la Dini, Suzuki, Junam de, Chamba de Zevilo, Kandis Peshetamil. Rang Jibola Tembaina, Su Rang, Junam Gunduran Julas, Rangi Jaba, Kaduina. Mazo Pat dive Miguel, the Suta Miguel Mara, Rangi Jabangamba. Junamla, Jen Junamla, Suta Yundu, and Numu Gematadal. Mazo Numonzoide, Comderva, Lelava Shivatudoa, Desha Shedang, Marche, Suji Lagumendo, Pama Lagumendo, Gagain Lagumendo, Mazo Rangi, Comdi Wangne, Mazo Yung de Yerova. Tesonza, Mazugi, Dindigi, Kariguru, Shedang Layadang, Trado Layadang, Transim Layada, Disudi, Mazo Majivasuni, and Lola, Katsur, Mazo Simla, Yokrasoni, Jena Yokrasoni, Ranga Yokrasoni Redua, Dindigi Lode, Matsuki, Lepshi, Levkin, Matsuki, Sanotam. Ya, Lode Trubaya. Susu Rangi, the Truba Mevazi, Gombaji Tumna, and Lodi Truba, Truba Imbadi, Koran, Matsu, Jenchung, the Truba de Lingurua, Jenatin, Jenchung, Rangi, Namdu, then Jenchung and the living, and Jenam Gundo Rangula, Doji, Numo Gemata. Tajimaru, Semjes, sent up to the Dobasho, Selavaina, Tenny. Send up to it, then this is Jedang, Dasha, Timu, Nopachimbo. Suzuki, Mevala, Jun together, Anichi, so Barry, Langri, Nokra, Tangazola, Jumachi, Gangi to you. Dindishi Gangi, Dela, Lamsang, Shirap Pichutan. Ditsamalo, Muni, Tungemandu, Devan Dubi, no digi thing, Ani, Tungenda, Deva, Layadi, Shisha de. Kona Ranjin Drupa Durza maybe Tone, Ani, Dusa Tunjuji, Jujin Tune, Yung de Digi Tingne, Tapshi Chin, Sembus Zangodam, Sangudi, Tapshi Chewaina, Shirap di Tapshi Chewaina, Shirap Diji, and then Gazugi, Ranji, Subtubadi, Mevat Zuvaina, any Niji Leva. Haji Korang better. And Shedang Tabs Langwaina, she Korangi sim de Rangide, or Shedang Memare. Hogi Tanda Shedang Lande, lower with Simje. Di Namdore, di Maribare. This songzang, call a ninja jedo. Di call a chibo yomare, Mili chibo sogumare. Dish shirab di Pejudana Tamuredo, shirab dinner chombuzoed. Tapshi chin, Sebachiado. 아니 닝제 제도 아니 랑라이나 시럽 카체 가시 랑게 냠바지 제와이나 센터 마도와이나 쥐용 카체요 탁주 냠바 되니 눈주 뭐시기로 와 눈주 될라 되니 랑량 욕자 동의 인도도 와 대송장 시럽 배주 당도 초용이 셀보 참모 로스 조반이 또 시바이나 센터 또 도그리
So if we look at the second and the third verses, it's actually about the way to open our wisdom. So if we can open, or we know how to open our wisdom, then we will be able to develop these good qualities, these positive qualities, such as compassion, such as patience, such as even meditative concentration and love and so on. Usually, we are very susceptible to any outer circumstances. For example, when we encounter unfavorable circumstances, when bad things happen, so to speak, then very easily we lose all these good qualities that we have. Not only we lose these good qualities, but our attachment and our anger rises very strongly and very easily. And therefore, if we can, or if we know if we know the way to open our wisdom, then we will be able to develop a kind heart and an honest mindset. usually when we're on our own, we naturally, very often, we look at the faults of others. In fact, we look at others quite often, as our eyes can only look at others. Our eyes cannot like turn back and look at ourselves, right? And so we're so used to afflictions. We have a very strong habit of giving rise to negativities, negative emotions, such as anger, attachments, covetousness, ill will, and so on, afflictions. These, giving rise to these, we don't even need a teacher to teach us to do that. We just naturally know how to do, just naturally give rise to it. And so when that happens, then we end up getting ourselves in trouble. We also end up getting others in trouble. Basically, our trouble goes on and on with these negative emotions. And then so we need to think how to deal with this mistaken mind. We really need to recognize the fact that these negativities are the mistaken mindsets. When circumstances happen, there are the objects or the reasons that make us angry or make us develop or give rise to these negativities. There is that. But there's also a part that regards ourselves, that is discursive thoughts, that we strongly attach to it. And so the two sort of give rise to the mistaken thoughts. And so, and when that happens, then we end up nothing but suffering. So because we all want happiness and we don't want suffering. So things exist without any independence. Things do not have an intrinsic existence. And everything exists because of dependent origination. And so at those circumstances, at those times, we need to utilize methods to help us to develop a kind mind, to develop an honest mindset. That we need to know that nothing does not have, how do I say this? We need to understand that the person who makes us angry does not understand that things do not exist without an intrinsic, do not exist without an intrinsic nature. And it is because he doesn't understand that, then he gets into these negative emotions. And then so to that, we feel compassionate towards him. When that person is engaged in discursive thoughts, when he's angry, when his anger is increasing, it's because of ignorance. It's because he thought that things has intrinsic existence. And so if we develop our compassion this way, then that is an honest mindset. So with the proper method, it would also help us to develop patience and compassion. And this is how we need to learn the way to open our wisdom. If we don't learn to open our wisdom, then we will end up reacting with bad methods, and that would only get us into trouble. However, with the clear and subtle mind, we can actually avert these destructive emotions at the moments when they arise very strongly. That's it.
That's all. Rangjing be semjene di don trape ne to che rinjen ta ta cheba yin ne ba ga jinzi sho song za chen bo ji song nong do.
And so the next is the fourth verse. Whenever I see ill-natured beings or those overwhelmed by intense negativity or suffering, I will cherish them as something rare, as though I found a priceless treasure. us.
What's all lo trubaji, lo di chick trundrodu, and that's one in Chane, Suzuki Kajuta, never genial lava in Andra, the Karena took just use it Zianzi Yungro, Lodi, and it Magawa, a Halibiji, touching messaging of Kunzin chairs or much was already the Halibiji did Yungdoa, Rangi Chune did Yungo, Jengi Chunia, did Rang, Pemisi Rang, Pemisi Tukja, Halibiji, Ranaji, Tape, go Kuni Pemisi Tukja, only the Euro. Dindrije Tonsonga Yina, and shut up the Peugeot Tanwaina. That did Lohareba. Shut up Peugeot Madana, Rangi Kungi Trudangdi, did it go near it on a young digger. Shado low, Jensimi low, Naximi low, Loktai low. Samaloa didn't say young digger, ding as a shirap chingilo lodi. Shirap Imbala, and Numonte de Lodi, Tadangri. Jönang the digips doa. Sunza, Tanga Dindriki Nitungani, Susula, Halebi, Tukja Shivichi, Susu Nundri Chunimin and Nundri Tukja Shivichi, Chesowaina. Shirab the Yakatsin, Shirabi, Jönang, Shirab the Yakatsin, Susu Yovadi, Ranjin Shirab the Katsin, Tawaina. Any Shedan way, Tabla, and Nicola, and Ninja, Simbazambuchia, Zubachia. Kainzena, what Dungi Manduri delegi, Hogi, Truba, Shedan la Japjune, and Bajibasen, Zindang Mungate Chiguro, Ning Leje. Ko Shedan Korangi Mo, Shedan Zimbanaji, Rang Meva. Rang la Dindiji, and Jun Zanimene, Junju the Chiba Ina. Annie, Hola, Nature made Chang la Bem Digi, Karjuguru, Namju. 니레초가 로당이지 가져로 시럽 넣어주지 디기나 되니 세바 제기로 와 자레쇼그로 와 뭐야 아니 탁주행 받치 아니 딜리 독자 심마지와 랑마지와 제마지와 지도 세바 맞아와치 세바 맞아비 토네 셈바데 시럽데 카체와 대가랑기 아니 시럽 표시 당소와 디기 토네 양 데나지 최 탐지 랑기 짐바나지 또 나고지 요 말어봐 레서 삼노 땅 용도 호기 자와 나고 남주 나고 직주보 가지지 임바이나 랑기 세미 딩네 닝제야지와 카인세나 호기 쏙바 지나지 랑라 주비요 말이 코추지 코추바 내가 랑라 홀라 동해 용거래 닝제제니 닝제랑이 자라메베 닝제지 제기로 제장 딘지지 시럽 표시 당와이나 되는 거는 자네 닝제지 소소 침상너이나最说着的 소소 메시지 다와 멤버리샤 저 독자리샤 저 삼노 당용도 람사 독도지 징교로 니 만진비 토네 제와이나 아니 소소 참바다 제와다 심전 탐지 대화다 덴버 주지 심전 탐지 동해다 체바 주지 심전 탐지 니린 차당니다 전 당용 내버 주 세미지 로 자친부지도 니 배추 땅도 그렇다. 니 배추 땅양이 되지. 니 낭지 아니 배추는 찬주기 셈 장바다 제벨로 셈상부 찬주 셈지 소고기나 찬주 셈비 쫙을 주고 그래. 파친 죽듯이 냠내 치고. 대송자 제베 파친 제발라 아니 지 셰랑라니메나 아니 제베 파친디 죽도록 말아. 딱 제발 짐버서 좀 전도가 가르치 독자 제발 있는.
So because of this mistaken mind, we end up having very bad attachments. When we see someone that we don't like, or somebody sort of offend us in a terrible way, then we end up being very angry at that person. Even sometimes throughout our life, we'll hold a grudge towards that somebody. And so it is usually that we see, and then we see this when we have that mindset. Everything about that person we see is all bad. There's nothing about that person that is not bad. However, if we know how to utilize the wisdom, then things will turn out differently. Without using wisdom, then we will be bombarded, we'll be sort of bound by all these negativities in our daily life. We will be caught up in jealousy, in competitiveness, in mistaken views, even in ill will. And this is the exact opposite of what wisdom is. Of course, all of that is a type of wisdom, or maybe I should say intelligence. But that is the type of intelligence that is mixed with a lot of afflictions. So it is not like we're not at fault of anything, but we need to know the way to open our wisdom. And if we know that, and if we actually do open our wisdom, then we won't be bound by anger. Then, on top of that, we will be able to develop true compassion, true kindness, and true patience. So when we face the person who brings us suffering, the reason we need to know that the reason why he does that is because that his mind is mistaken, and that whatever he is grasping to or he's strongly attached to, it is totally against the happiness that he wants. So do not think, and then you might think that, oh, I am not at fault at all. The faults are completely on the other side, on that person. And so like if you go on that way, then you end up nothing but having a quarrel of anything. And then if you don't use your wisdom, and then you will end up seeing everything as we say, that seeing everything black about that person. From head to toe, there's nothing good about that person at all. And so to utilize wisdom, then we actually will be able to see that person with the deepest compassion, that he is not like that. He's usually not like that now. He actually has a mind that is free from all that. But because of his strong attachment or grasping, he ends up like that. So having the real understanding of this part, you will be able to generate compassion. And the type of compassion is unbearable compassion mindset. And so we can also apply this to the family. Usually we get into fights with our family very easily because, we all have like bad views, and then not only that we attach or grasp onto those views very easily. So we get into fight very easily with our family. However, at those circumstances, if we know how to utilize wisdom, and especially it is the time for us to apply the 4 immeasurables. That is, may they have happiness and the cause of happiness. May they be free from suffering and the cause of suffering. May they do not part from the equanimity of happiness. This is the time for us to apply that. And if we're able to remember to do that at those times, then we can really take that to the next level. That is the practice of bodhicitta and the practice of the 6 paramitas, the 6 perfections. We then will be able to really practice patience. So if we don't do that, then these negativities will very easily become our troublemakers. And so there are reasons for that. That's all.
Ta di chang lo ma su ni zo ma zu 강에 라야 당 짐바 라야지 강에 리트도 참만한 짐바 인자네 카도 짐바 디 아니 시럽지 봐 가지고 그러다 고짜 거야 들이들어와 짐바 템바 짐바 있는다 랑 진지 있는다 아니지 그런 유유지 가지나 수수기 강에데 추 진용도 추 진은 아니 강에 침부지 디 시럽 배주 당와이나 랑게 짐바 나지 유텔라 마주베제당 랑기 짐바나지 유랑 유유진이게라 죽이면도 랑기 템버지한다 랑기 탁주치한주기 아니 맞아 이 당지 머리빠져야 되게 탁주치한주 진대야 장부지대야 아니 장부지대야 아니 님바지대야 돼 참말로 그런 세신인지 임바 맞지 아니 남도 이제한도 줄때와지 아니 그런 게 가지고다지 동네 주용이지 인장 짐바데라 아니 싫어 표시했다고 랑게 짐바나지 유텔라 메데 랑게 짐바나지 아니 지 카조로 수수기 서로바나지 짐바나지 출대요나 아니 딱 가디나 강에서 찾들어와 대인자네 시럽디 카체는 랑게 짐바나지 유메바지 삼는다 상마 뚜주비지랑지 조제나 저거이 랑진지 레와 지한테 충성하이나 시럽디 짜침 라진거도와 시럽디 짜침보 최탐지 띵중이 니중안에 랑지 주바 덜잠이요 말이 짐발라야 돼 덴버 진대야지도 짐바 하티 샤포신 진대야지도 디카와도 유 셰샤는 도에 랑세만 도에 제주치나 미도아 다랑 랑기 나는 출바 임바다 짐바디 줌마 임바지 하고 연로 레라버리 수제주치나 짐바나지 미디 독자 가wan도 뭐라 도와 주고도 좀 수조바 매바 말에 여당디 찌마 뭐들 때네 체네 샤르바 장체 제바 장체 드링체나 산이 셈데 출데기면도 와야 유주도 와
맞아. So the grasping or the attachment to our suffering, we need to utilize again our wisdom to counter it. Usually we have very strong self-grasping or grasping at intrinsic existence at the object that we have grasping at or at the mind that we perceive the objects. And so to the grasping of the suffering, when we utilize our wisdom, we will come to the understanding that be it the object that we grasp at or the mind that perceives the object, there is not an intrinsic existence added. And this type of wisdom will be able to help us to eradicate self-grasping. We will be able to understand that it's our discursive thoughts, or our self-grasping that brings us suffering. And that we will also understand that the object does not exist in a way that we grasp it or how we perceive it. Or the object also do not exist in a way as our mistaken feelings reckon. And so there are numbers of reasons, there are many, many reasons that we need to find a way to open our wisdom. And because all phenomena exist because of dependent origination, having understood that, we will be able to widen our wisdom. And not having widened our wisdom at circumstances, for example, when facing our grasping, for example, the grasping at intrinsic existence strongly, at those moments we can question ourselves, where is that thing that you're grasping? Be it at the object, is it at the object, or is it at your mind that perceives the objects? And so if you question yourself and start looking, very often you very quickly you would know that this self-grasping is actually wrong. It's actually quite easy as long as you apply to it. And so that very bad person, that person that you see from head to toe, there's not a good place good about that person. Where is the badness of that person? Where? From the head to his toes, like where? Can you actually pinpoint out? I'm not saying that these things, the sufferings or the badness do not exist. It's not that they exist. But if you look at that bad person that you see as, being very bad, even if he's bad today, tomorrow he might turn into a good person as if that bad person doesn't exist anymore, isn't it? That's all.
라서 되는 거로 줄딘데 되나 자 되는 마 지지대 상마지마 되자 봐.
I'll stop here for the morning session, and then maybe we'll just continue with the recitation of the rest of the text.
Meri Neche Enam Cheni Thangpa Tava Sho Dharma Losang Juba Ayin Pende Mana Angula Ambu Mayin Dong Gun Sanve Dala Alemba Jo Te da gun jang zhi jie ye jian do bei zhi men ma bang xin Chogyen Juma Shebe Losang Qinwa Ale Geshe Chanjo Zimjo Rinpoche Maje Bana Jeju Jewa Nyamba Meba Yang Kone Kondo Pebara Sho Gewandi Jewo Gun Sonami She Tsozo Sonami She Lenjo Thangpa Kuni Tobara Sho Khandro Roba Korbe Jingani Penda Dewa Mari Jome Jerenzewa Tinsin Jazo Jabe Side Parto Tenjuruchi
Tegen pari sangye shindu midimbu ayi joku nanda chila chevarsho ilam guru ratna mandara kamne atayami
Thangpa jikden kamsum chompa tam Thangpa ni jinda se Benze bunu jinda Thangpa ye Thangpa yurin ne be trashi shu